go to Louisville, Kentucky for an arraignment. 30-year-old Herbert Lee has been charged with attempted murder of a police officer, receiving stolen property, and possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, as well as a number of other charges. A day earlier, Lee, who's already out on bond for wanton endangerment and has a long criminal history, which includes a manslaughter conviction, was at a local park watching a basketball game. When police approached him attempting to execute multiple warrants, he didn't stick around. Five officers chased him into a field on the edge of the park. After stumbling, Lee shot at the officers, who returned fire.
Drop the gun!
Lee was hit several times before falling to the ground. One of the officers, Joshua Pickering, was also struck.
I got hit, dude. I hit my vest.
Because he was wearing a protective vest, Officer Pickering was unharmed. Police confiscated Lee's weapon.
Is there any officer? Stay with us.
And immediately began treating him for multiple non-life-threatening injuries as they waited for paramedics to arrive. Lee was taken to the hospital and released later that day, then taken into custody.
We ready on Herbert Lee?
Today, he appears in a wheelchair before Judge Josephine Buckner to hear his numerous charges and find out if he'll make bond. Lee appears without an attorney.
Let's start with 22F5347.
Yes.
Wanton endangerment, first degree, and harassment, physical contact, no injury. Mr. Lee, is he up there? Okay. So we'll enter a plea of not guilty for you on that case. Were you planning to hire an attorney, or did you need the services of the public defender's office?
If I'm ever able to use the phone, I give it away. But they won't even let me use the phone. Medical's barely looking at me like.
We're gonna get you the phone after we get done here, okay? So, do you wanna hire your own attorney?
I'm gonna reach out to somebody.
All right.
As Judge Buckner goes through the other charges, Lee has something else he'd like to discuss.
Let's just work on the
They don't even
paperwork.
come to check my wounds or nothing. Like I'm open all over. They don't even come to change bandages or nothing. I got hurt 2-something yesterday. They didn't
I
even do
will
nothing.
talk
They didn't
with
do
you
nothing.
about that after we get through the paperwork.
I'm saying though, my body's in pain. I can care less about this. I want my body to be able so I can be able to walk.
Next case, 22F5346, receiving stolen property.
When the judge is finished going through the charges, the state makes a bond recommendation.
Judge, the county would just ask that the bond remain at $1 million full cash, given his history and the allegations set forth before the court today.
Your bond will remain the same for now, sir. When you contact an attorney, they can make any motions that you want. We're done. And I'll talk with them about your medical, okay?
Lee is being held on a $1 million bond. He was later also indicted on federal firearm charges for possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. His various state charges are all pending. We're in the Ann Arbor, Michigan virtual courtroom of Judge Cedric Simpson for a sentencing hearing. 41-year-old Natasha Mitchell has pled guilty to operating a vehicle while intoxicated. A year earlier, police found Mitchell outside a pizza parlor in the driver's seat of her car, along with a bottle of tequila. Her blood alcohol level was 0.119, well above the legal limit of 0.08. She was arrested and released on a personal recognizance bond. Mitchell is banned from drinking alcohol while out on bond and has been required to use a SoberLink portable breathalyzer for the past year. And while she's consistently had negative test results, she's recently missed some tests completely. So the probation department is requesting she be given jail time and upgraded to an ankle bracelet.
Okay, where are we on this one? There was a request for 4 days in jail to report to the Washington County Jail today at 6 p.m. to get a scram tether placed on her.
This all seems to take Mitchell by surprise.
Please don't put me on tether. It's embarrassing enough have to blow when I do. I've been blowing for probably, a year now. I have had some times where I've missed because of falling asleep or just simply forgetting. Lord have mercy. Please give me some leniency.
Miss Mitchell,
Yes.
how long have we been dealing with each other?
I don't know. It's been a long time, but I haven't seen you in a long time. It's been years since I've seen you.
Mitchell and Judge Simpson have history. She's appeared in his courtroom several times before.
Miss Mitchell, if it's been all that long, why do you think I remember you?
Because you always was saying how my face was looking mean or how I always look mean, but I smile now. I don't.
You always would appear before me with, you had a scowl.
I had an attitude. I had a very bad attitude.
Yes, you did. I'm glad you finally admit that. I kept telling you that.
That's the old me.
Let's see if we can get you through this, Miss Mitchell, okay?
With the reminiscing over, Judge Simpson turns his attention to the question at hand, whether or not to punish Mitchell for her missed tests.
So here's what I'm going to do, Miss Mitchell. I'm going to place you on 24 months probation. I'm going to continue on the sober line.
I appreciate it.
But you cannot miss any tests.
I will not miss any test.
I will not have her report to jail at this time.
I won't let you down. I appreciate you.
Miss Polera or Elin, if she even begins to mess up, come find me personally, because I'm going to get in my truck and we're going to go get her.
I will make note of that.
And she does not want me just rolling up on her, because I will.
I sure don't. I sure don't.
Mitchell's serving her 2 years probation, but she avoided jail time and remains on her sober link. Judge Simpson has not had to deploy his truck. We head to Orlando, Florida. The defendant is 39-year-old Jeremy DeWitt. He's been charged with impersonating a police officer. DeWitt runs a company that provides private security escorts during funeral processions.
I'll get the light before the bridge, you get the light after the bridge.
It's a legitimate business that DeWitt is authorized to operate.
Get to me, get to me, get to me.
What he's not authorized to do is direct traffic.
Go past me, go past me. Repo, take this intersection and keep this under control.
Weave through traffic at illegal speeds.
I just did 110 down this road.
Or, most notably, pull over
Hey, pull over, pull over.
and confront drivers while dressed somewhat like a real officer.
What are you doing? What the does it look like I'm doing, dumb? Get the over before you find out.
Stop pretending you're a police officer.
Listen, I know what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. What you need to do is figure it the out before you start talking.
With such blatant behavior, the local media gets wind of what DeWitt is up to. Before long, he appears on the radar of the real police. And in 2019, after police observed him breaking traffic laws, he's arrested while working a funeral.
Who is this guy? Oh, that's Jeremy right there?
When officers question DeWitt about the registration of his motorcycle, which comes up as stolen, he becomes livid.
Sergeant, my vehicle's not stolen, Sergeant. I can tell you right now, everything's being videotaped on my body cam, Sergeant. Okay, you're I have the registration for the vehicle, Sergeant.
Officers search DeWitt and find an arsenal of police gear, including handcuffs, mace, and a baton.
Because the Honda was stolen, and we got the tag back from the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and then we registered it to that motorcycle.
But as DeWitt loudly attempts to explain the situation,
In the car, dude.
officers have had enough.
You just chill. If it's an issue, we'll figure it out. But you screaming and yelling isn't going to change that. Well, just sit tight.
Okay.
DeWitt's charged with impersonating an officer and released on bond. But while out on bond, police get a warrant for DeWitt's own body camera and find a wealth of incriminating footage, including more pullovers.
Get the over!
And additional confrontations with drivers DeWitt considers interfering in his escorting a funeral procession.
Hi! How are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
You must have missed that it's 45 through there, and then you use the turning lane to cut through traffic.
Yeah.
I understand you're in a nice car and everything, but let's be a little more mature the way you drive. Let's drive the right way then.
Are you a cop?
Don't worry about what I am, because I'm a state agent, so
Yeah, well,
what you
you're
need to
not.
do is make sure you're doing the right thing, boy.
The driver pulls away. But it doesn't take too long for DeWitt to catch up.
Yeah,
That's real nice.
yeah, I know.
Real professional.
The way you almost hit me, boy,
Oh, yeah?
is the way it's professional, bitch ass.
You're not a cop.
You want to fight?
Violating the rule, too.
How's that?
Don't even act like you're stopping me.
I didn't pull you over. Did I make a traffic on you, boy? Come on, let's go, bitch.
DeWitt's arrested again and brought before the judge with 2 more charges of impersonating an officer.
You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for falsely impersonating an officer.
Once again, is released on bond.
About the new cases.
Turns out DeWitt has quite a history of playing cop. He was convicted of the same charge back in 2001. But DeWitt can't seem to stay out of trouble. And after multiple arrests for impersonating an officer, he's back in court again.
Your name, sir?
I'm sorry, Jeremy Charles DeWitt, Your Honor.
This time he's not here for being a fake police officer, but for failing to register a vehicle as a very real sex offender. In 2005, DeWitt was convicted of lewd or lascivious battery involving a victim between 12 and 15 years old.
Mr. DeWitt, you're here today because you're arrested on an arrest warrant for a sex offender violation, failing to register as required. You're also out on bond on 5 charges of falsely impersonating an officer.
The state is requesting his bonds be revoked on his prior cases, giving the new law violation, continued pattern of criminal activity, and he also poses a flight risk.
The prosecution again asks that his bond be revoked. But once again, DeWitt catches a break.
No, I'm going to leave the bonds in place.
As for his remaining impersonation charges, until his trial begins, DeWitt remains free on bond. Next, we're in Centerville, Michigan for a plea hearing. 38-year-old Catherine Bonke has been charged with possession of methamphetamine, retail fraud, and resisting and obstructing a police officer. 12 days earlier, Bonke was in a big box store when employees allegedly saw her shoplifting and called police. When officers arrived and inspected her shopping cart after checkout, some items were not paid for. Bonke then fled the scene. Police quickly caught up with her and discovered she was also in possession of methamphetamine. She was charged and released on a $7,000 bond. Today, Bonke appears before Judge Jeffrey Middleton to enter a plea. Her attorney is Lori Hines.
People versus Catherine Elaine Bonke.
Judge Middleton is familiar with the defendant, having seen her in his court multiple times, and right away notices that something isn't right.
You're a mess. You're an absolute mess, and it breaks my heart. I don't know what to do with you, but you are struggling and you're killing yourself. Your mother's been here 511 times, and I'm not sure how much more she could take.
Not much.
But I'm not sure how much more I can take. when you're straight, you're an intelligent, thoughtful young woman, and you're not, you're a train wreck. Bond is canceled.
This is the defendant's third offense for meth possession, making her a habitual offender. If found guilty at trial, she could be facing 30 years for the meth charge, 40 years for resisting an officer, and 5 years for retail fraud. But the two sides have agreed to a deal. If Bonke pleads guilty to the lesser charges of using methamphetamine and attempted resisting and obstruction, both misdemeanors, the prosecutor's office would also drop the retail fraud charge. Now, the worst she's looking at is 2 years in jail and a $2,000 fine.
Do you understand that if you do plead to these charges, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There'll be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The defense attorney explains to Bonke that she's being taken into custody now.
Being taken into custody. Why?
Because you just pled guilty to 2 one-year misdemeanor offenses.
Oh, no, I thought...
You're going to jail right now.
No, I didn't know I was doing that.
You're going to jail right now.
I didn't know what there was...
Yes, please take that.
I didn't know I was pleading.
On Monday. Yes, you did. I just asked you.
I didn't know that was going on right now. I didn't know that I was...
You're going to jail right now, and we're going to talk about it again on the 21st. Catherine, you are in such dire straits that you need to be right where you're going. If I just go. She is in bad shape. We're going to have to reconfirm the plea because I'm not sure she's even competent right now to give a plea. We will reconfirm the plea.
All right.
If she chooses not to plead, we can undo it, but I'm still canceling her bond.
Because of her condition, the judge postponed the confirmation of Bonke's plea deal. A week later, it was reconfirmed when Bonke agreed to the terms of the deal. She was sentenced to 97 days in jail with credit for 7 days already served. Bonke was also placed on probation for 24 months, and upon her release, must enter a drug treatment facility. Next, we're in Austin, Texas for a bond hearing. 37-year-old Zan Anderson has been charged with resisting police transport and tampering with evidence, both misdemeanors. A day earlier, police say Anderson crashed a backyard cookout, brandished a knife, and stole food. The cookout host called police, who soon spotted Anderson and the food outside a nearby library. When they tried to cuff him, Anderson allegedly threw a glass pipe to the ground, breaking it. Then, when one of the officers tried to place Anderson in his patrol car, the defendant allegedly resisted by making his body dead weight. Officers eventually got him into the back seat and took him to the station where he was booked and charged.
Zan Anderson.
Today, Anderson appears without an attorney before Magistrate Judge Stephen Vigorito to learn if he'll make bond.
Mr. Anderson, you're charged with a Class A misdemeanor resisting arrest or search. Your bond amount's $100. You also have a third-degree felony tampering with physical evidence with a bond amount of $1,000. Total amount of your bond's $1,100.
That's all I need, please.
You're not going to get a personal bond because you're already out on bond on another case where you're on supervision and you've not reported to your supervision officer.
What?
You were released on a resisting arrest charge with one of the conditions was to report to your supervision officer, and that was closed out unsatisfactorily because you hadn't reported.
Sir, I've never met or heard of this officer. My lawyer has never told me about an officer I needed to go see. I've never heard of that. No one has ever told me to go see this officer.
That's not what our records reflect, but I tell you what, your attorney can come talk to me about it and I'll listen.
All I needed to do is get my pills and get out of here. You telling me I can't because I've never been to some place I've never heard of? That isn't fair. I mean, I've never heard of this officer. Where would I even go to see said officer?
Anderson seems to think he's being treated unfairly. But Judge Vigorito reminds him of their history together.
After you got out on a personal bond, you then arrested a month later on a criminal trespass charge, and I personally gave you another personal bond on that case, and now we're right back here for 2 more cases, and I'm not comfortable doing another personal bond on it.
That was so long ago. I never went back to that
So
property.
long ago as in 3 months ago?
Yes, and I never went back to that property.
Where this is now the 3rd rodeo right now, and you didn't follow the conditions of your release on the last 2 rodeos?
A piece of glass was broke, dude. That was all I was doing, was standing next to a piece of glass that broke. I didn't break no on. I never met no officer.
You want a court-appointed lawyer to help you out?
Yeah, I want a lawyer and I want a PR bond, and that's
You're not getting a PR bond.
because why?
I just explained it.
Anderson continues to argue, but the judge has heard enough.
I'm not going to talk about it anymore, and I don't want you to make any more statements on your case. Talk to your lawyer about it.
Anderson never posted bond, but the resisting and tampering charges were later dropped, and the cookout hosts never pressed charges. He was later found guilty for his previous resisting arrest charge and sentenced to 45 days in the county jail.